Well, hi everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Canning Nana. Today, I'm going to answer a question that is most asked of me when I do canning. And that is the great canning debate. Should we leave the lids on, the rings on, or should we take them off after they're all done processing and cooling? So, what should we do? Do we stack our jars, or do we just put them away, single file, preferably in the box they came from? So what do you guys do? I am going to tell you what I do, okay? You don't have to listen to me. This is my opinion, and it's the opinion of a lot of really good sister canners here on YouTube also. Sister brothers also. I don't want to forget the men who can, because there are many men who can now, and I think that's fabulous. So, what do we do? Well, for me, I keep the lids off, okay? And sometime I forget. I miss a jar or two. And as you can see, I'm really sorry this is shaky. I'm trying to hold this while I do this, because I need to go in different directions to show you and get my point really across to you guys, because this is really important and may save your family's money in the long run, and may even save your family's life. So it's that important, okay? So do not store your jars with the rings on them. Why not? Okay, so here's a good example. I did hot dogs. I know I've showed this jar before, and for this purpose, I keep this jar around to show people what not to do. This is a jar of hot dogs. This is a quart jar. It has, gosh, I think 11 or 12 hot dogs in there that are gone now because I can't get to them. So that's wasted money right there. Look at the lid. Okay, now this is a jar that was just done last year, and I inadvertently left the ring on. Kind of dumb, I know, but I make mistakes too. Got the lids off all of the other ones, but this one somehow skipped me, and I didn't get it. I missed it. It was probably put in a different place. But look what happens. You see all that rust? Well, that rust gets inside of your food. Okay, it goes right here, right in the bottom here. Look at all that. That gets in there. And more so, this jar, now the top doesn't go down, or the top doesn't go up. It's sealed, okay? Or it looks like it's sealed. But how do I know it's sealed? I have no idea. Because I left the ring on this, I leave my jars, when I process them, I leave them to sit 24 to 48 hours after processing with the rings on. When I know that they're sealed, I take the lids off, like this. Oops, right here. I take the lids off, make sure that I can pick them up by the seal, and they don't go anywhere. That's when I wash the jar and put them away. Okay, so if you leave the ring on the jar, let's say you put the jars away, and a couple days later, and I have had this happen. I had this happen with tomatoes, which is a really bad thing to have happen. I've had it happen one time, and I didn't have the ring on, thank God. Let's say you have the ring on your hot dogs or whatever else, and this little seal right here unseals. For some reason, there's air in the jar, it pops up, and it unseals. Well, with this ring on, it will push it down. The pressure of this ring right here will push it down, and it will cause the jar to give you, it will reseal and give you a false seal. You'll never know that it was unsealed and resealed itself. You'll never know. And that's how you don't know if there's bacteria in the jar or not, if there's salmonella in the jar. There could be anything in this jar growing. Usually, when you have your lids, your rings off, and a jar goes bad, it'll lift off, and it may not even lift off all the way, but you'll see inside your jar And you should always inspect your jars before you open and after you open them. Make sure the seals are on. But if it does go bad, first of all, the seal won't be tight at all. It'll be very loose. Second of all, even if it creates a false seal, which rarely it does with no ring, you will see all the yucky stuff that grows on the top of that. Mold, bacteria. It'll discolor your food. It'll just look gross because air got to that food. So we don't want to leave the rings on. And that's one of the reasons, because you can get a false seal and you'll never know if that jar resealed itself or not. Second of all, this jar right here, this had no ring on it and it was stored. And look at that. Okay, now I have done all these little things right here that you see. I've tried to get this seal off the jar with a knife, banging it on there because I want the jar. I want to throw away the tomatoes, but I want the jar. So I've tried to get it off and it won't even come off. So I have to pry it off somehow. But sometime, especially with tomatoes, due to heat, changes in heat, changes in weather, and I live at the beach, so we have a lot of salty air here, it'll cause your seals to rust. If that should happen, please don't use your jars. That will get inside your food. I know a lot of canners will say, oh no, it's fine, you know, as long as it's not on the ring and everything. Just to be safe, don't use that can. Just don't. If you throw away a $2 can of tomatoes rather than a $10,000 bill at the hospital, I think that kind of weighs itself out and it's better. Toss the tomatoes, don't toss your family, okay? All right, so the only time I leave my rings on, my basil that I use all the time, the ring is on here and it's not sealed because this jar I use all the time. I have a Food Saver add-on that seals my regular mouth and my wide mouth for dry storage. So I don't have to worry about that either. This jar I keep the ring on because this is the one that I use most in my kitchen. My large quart size one with basil is vacuum sealed. Okay. My other thing I want to talk about, how do you store your cans? Do you store them like this? Let me tell you, okay? Okay, let me try to stop from shaking this. Storing the jars like this, while it may save you space, it can cause you problems. Because again, just like the ring on the jar, having a can stacked on top of another jar, a jar on top of a jar, the bottom jar could unseal for some reason, and the weight and pressure of the top jar will cause it to give you a false seal. It'll reseal. And you won't know that happened. So we do not stack our jars. How do you do that then? How do you store your jars? Well, I have a pantry out in my garage, and I will show you guys that in another video. But what I do is I will put my jars inside the boxes that they came in like this. Okay, and let's say that this jar or this box is full. Then I will put that box on top, fill this box, put this box on top of another box. There's enough gap in the bottom of the box that there's not enough pressure to cause these to unseal and reseal. They won't come apart. They won't push themselves down. They won't reseal, give you a false seal. That's okay to do. Ball has amazing plastic jar holders. They're a little pricey. I plan to get them because here in California we have earthquakes all the time. And if you look back in two of my videos, I think, I told you about two of the bigger earthquakes that we had here this past July. Well, just last week? Last week or a week and a half ago, we had a bunch of earthquakes. Small ones. The biggest one was like a 3.5, I think. Maybe 3.9. That was very nearby. So, and you know, houses shook, things shake, and all the time that you put into canning, you don't want to lose your jars. So I would suggest getting the ball, the plastic carriers for your jars. And that's something I plan to do. They're, I think, about $8 or $9 each, and they hold a dozen jars. For me, that's going to be pretty pricey because I have a lot of jars. I can probably about 500 jars a year, maybe a little bit more, depending on what I'm doing. So, yeah, that's, and one of the other times that I will put a ring on a jar, now these right here are my corn cob jelly. These I sell, or I give away, this and my lemon curds. So I store them like this, and when they're ready to go to a new home, I put the lid on. So this way, you know that, one, the jelly's really good. It's not going nowhere. Look at that. And they're perfectly sealed. So you, especially when you're giving away food to other people, please don't give jars away that look like this. You know, nice jars like this kind, and you know, meat, like these. You know, that's what you want to do. So please, 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 do not, my opinion, do not store your jars with the rings. Please don't do that. Okay, I want to show you a little bit of my in-home pantry. Some of my jars, these are probably maybe a tenth of what I have in the garage, but this is what we use every day, and this is how we alternate. So this right here, it's a little bit dark because it's raining today. This is my pantry, one of my pantries. There's another one up there. So this is what I have, and these drawers move in and out. Let's get down here. Okay, so you'll notice I have no rings. These are all stored with no rings. All of my jars, no rings. And these are things that we use. I use them every day. And I will do another video on what I will and will not can again, because the one that I did, I think about 2 years ago, has gotten really good views and good comments on it. And a lot of things have changed since then. So I think I want to update that. So if you haven't watched that, go back and watch the what I will and will not can again. And what I dehydrate. I did one of those too, and I need to update that as well. Those were both about 2 years ago. So look for them in my playlist. So this is how I can my jars. Yeah, they're a little bit dusty. But this, what I just used 2 of these. 3/17/2012. Okay, I get a lot of questions too. How long will your jars stay? How long does the food last? I'll tell you. These were Garden Fresh beans from 2012. And they tasted like they just came out of the garden. They were nice and crisp. They were delicious. Beautiful beans, just beautiful. And in fact, that was the last crop of beans that I had that came out that good. The next crop that I had were the Italian beans, the flat-sided. And these weren't as good. We didn't have a lot of rain. These were done in 2017, and we didn't have a lot of rain, and we were in a drought, and we couldn't water as much. And so all of my water went to watering my garden instead of the grass and everything. So I did what I could, but we still didn't have a good crop. So, and this is some of the other things that I do. You guys will see some of these, my chicken, the peaches that I just did. There's a lot of things. Oops, there we go. So I will go through those in another video, but these are what I really wanted to show you guys. This is the big canning debate. To leave the rings on or to leave the rings off. In my opinion, and for safety reasons, I hope that you will take the rings off and store your jars without the rings. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I know a lot of people canned with their grandmas, and a lot of them told you to take the rings off, but you didn't know why. You just did it. So this is why. This is what they knew way back then. That the jars can go bad. And you'll never know. And that bacteria can get into those jars and get your family sick. I have heard stories of old-time canners that got sick on cans of beans, pinto beans, or meat. They didn't use a pressure canner back then. So we have all of this knowledge available to us now to do this properly, to do this safely. And I hope that, when you're watching my videos, they're all my opinion on how I can. When I do my hot dog video, it's going to be completely my opinion. Other people do it, yes. There are controversy in what we can and what we don't can, and whether it's USDA approved or not, or in the ball book. When in doubt, look in your ball book. Look at the USDA website for your state and go from there, okay? Don't take all of our words for granted. Do your research. That's how I learned. We all have to learn for ourselves. Water bath canning is one thing, pressure canning is another, and you need to know what foods go in which canner. That's so important for your family. You don't want to can meat of any kind in a water bath canner. You just don't. I mean, we'll go into that in detail in another video. Right now, I just wanted to answer the question that I'm being asked so much about the rings, and if I leave them on or leave them off, and what do I think about it. So here it is, guys. This is what I think, and let me know what you think in the comments below, okay? I want to know what you were taught, and why you do what you do, how you store your cans, and we'll have a discussion, okay? Thanks for watching, and please hit that subscribe button and the bell, and I will be back with lots of upcoming videos. I know I've been really slow lately. There's been so much going on with my husband's surgery. He's actually having another surgery today, this afternoon, minor surgery, thank God. So I'm doing this video this morning, and hopefully you'll see me again tomorrow, and I'll go through some of what I can and what I won't can again. So I will see you guys soon. Ring that bell, and please leave a comment and hit the like button. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.